Good morning. This is my day 5 in Arunachal. So today is going to be a big day. It started raining in the morning itself. Hence, I don't know how the day is going to be. If it's raining in Tawang, which is at about 3000 meters, I do not know how it's going to be in Bumla, which is about 4600 meters altitude. So I assume that the high altitude route might have some heavy snow. In the morning, I went to the army post near the War Memorial and collected the commander signed Bumla permit. After collecting the permit, I came to the market area looking for a cafe or any small eatery to have some breakfast. I waited for about 20 to 30 minutes for the first shop to open. It was a small shack and he had hot tea, puri, omelette, etc. I had some food from there because I doubt finding any eateries on the way except for some army canteen. I finished my breakfast and started by around 7:30 am. The weather now is cloudy, but there is no rain. The route is full of climbs and I am progressing slowly because of the monoshock issue my bike has. There are some army trucks along the road going towards Bumla. The weather remains cloudy with a slight drizzles along the way. This is a small settlement on the way. None of the roadside shops are open yet, probably because of the cold morning. I seem to be the first tourist for the day. At this height itself, we can see the first view of the snow. I think it was snowing last night heavily. After about 9 to 10 kilometers, I reached the army post where we need to show the permit and they will take note of the vehicle number and personal details before allowing you to proceed further. And they are constantly in touch with army personnel on top. And the morning communication they received is that they are not allowing vehicles to the top because of heavy snowfall happening there. I had a tea in a small canteen run inside the army post. I met a few drone engineers from Delhi who were doing some drone trials for the army in this high altitude. Here again, photography is not allowed near this post, hence no footage of this location. After waiting for about 2 hours, they informed two-wheelers are not allowed today because of the heavy snow on the road. As I was waiting there, many four-wheelers also started coming in. Luckily, then I found a Mahindra silo with just two passengers and a driver. As two-wheelers were not allowed, going to Bumla on my motorcycle was ruled out. And I asked the silo passenger for a lift and they allowed me in. One of the passenger was an auditor from Kolkata. He is working for Canara Bank and he had come to Tawang on work. He decided to explore Bumla and hence hired a car and came along with his friend. I was lucky to get this lift as it helped me fulfill my objective to visit Bumla. So I parked my bike near the army post and started traveling in their vehicle. The road is full of snow and it was good that army did not allow two-wheelers. Without a proper snow chain and other equipments, it is unsafe to ride motorcycles in this condition. A taxi driver was telling me that 3 days earlier, a group of riders rode up to Bumla on their bike in the afternoon, and as the weather was favorable till the time they reached the top, but in the evening hours it snowed heavily and they had to leave their bikes on the top and walk 7 kilometers to reach the nearest army post, and then they had to arrange a rescue vehicle from Tawang, and it was a tedious day for them.
वाह, पूरा कॉन्वॉय जैसा दिखता है। पूरा गाड़ी ऊपर आता है। सही से।
Lots of tourists are there and people are enjoying. You can see all the four-wheelers putting the snow chains on their tires here. Vehicles cannot climb this terrain without the snow chains. All rear-wheel drive vehicles have the snow chain on their rear wheels, and the smaller cars with the front-wheel drive have them on the front wheels. We have now crossed the halfway mark and we have stopped to give way to the upcoming army vehicles. One problem with these tourist vehicles is that the snow chains that they use have been worn out and their links break in between very often, and they have to mend it using some old rubber tubes. This causes all the vehicles to stop and wait, thus causing a lot of delay. It would have been good if they were using new snow chains, but India being a country that grinds the maximum use, any kind of jugaad works to make the maximum use of the product. So I could see that most of the snow chains used were rusted with a few links missing.
Pretty so lake.
There are a few lakes along the way, but because of the heavy snow, the road towards them is completely covered with snow and is not accessible even by walk. So all the tourists dropped their plans of visiting these lakes and proceeded towards Bumla. Now there is another traffic block because of some vehicle is stuck. For me, this was the first experience of a drive through this much snow. It was a thrilling and exciting experience. People were stopping their cars en route and taking pictures. There are more than 50 vehicles in this so-called convoy, and whenever one vehicle gets stuck, everybody have to stop and help the vehicle get out of the trouble so that everyone can move on. So there were enough and more stops. This is another lake on the way closer to the pass. There are many lakes in this area. We have now crossing the last leg of the climb, and we are reaching almost on the top of the mountain pass. We are now entering Bumla. As you approach the pass, it is flat and the road is good. The good thing about this route is that if the weather conditions are good, we can reach Bumla in around 1.5 hours from Tawang. The road is good, though narrow. But today, because of the snow, we took almost 3 hours to cover the 25 kilometers from the army post. We reached Bumla by around 1 p.m.
कुछ ना कुछ लेना पड़ेगा.
After parking the car, we had to walk for about 200 meters to reach the army canteen, where they serve some hot tea, coffee, soup, bread pakoda, chana and samosa, etc. The canteen was a relatively warm area, thus a relief from the cold outside. The crowd is high today. As I said, around 50 vehicles have come, which means there are around 200 plus tourists today. So they grouped us and took us to the border area as smaller groups.
गाड़ी बाइक के लिए बनाया, लेकिन इसके साथ लिफ्ट मार के आए, बाइक नीचे रखा है. इसमें अलग हाँ, क्योंकि हाँ बीच रास्ता इतना खराब था. जी एंट्री परमिट किधर है? देखना. नंबर B8.
They call out names according to the permit number and send us in groups of around 30 to 40 people. The actual China border is almost 200 meters from here. Beyond this canteen, they do not allow any photography. I don't understand how that helps in the current times of satellite photographies and kind of surveillance possible from the space. At this point, I remember my ride to Nathula Pass in 2007. That was a peaceful time when we shook hands with Chinese soldiers. But now things have changed and it is very strict. We were part of the second group to the actual border. What we see ahead is the walkway to the border point. The army person there explained about the Tawang and Bumla importance, how the Chinese army came through different paths during the 1962 war, and about the fight that happened around Bumla Pass, etc. We could see 2 to 3 Chinese soldiers standing opposite to our persons, but videography and photography is completely prohibited. So it's sad that there is no way of getting some footage of this briefing by the army person. After spending some more time there, we started our return leg. Return did not take that much time, but there were a few stops as some vehicles were getting stuck again. And you can see these lakes on the way back. As we reached the point where I parked my bike, this was the condition, with so much snow fallen in the last 5 to 6 hours. Then I rode the bike back and reached my homestay by around 4 pm. As usual, I went for an evening walk in the neighborhood to unwind after the tedious journey. After my walk, it was almost 6 pm and it was getting dark. So I went to a local eatery and had some hot momos. And here in restaurants, you can have your drink. So I also had 2 rounds of whiskey along with hot momos to celebrate my Bumla visit and to unwind. I went back to my homestay by around 7 pm. After catching up with some social media and bit of reading, I rested for the day early by around 8:30. And tomorrow's plan is to go towards Tezpur to rectify my motorcycle monoshock issue. But I don't think I'll be able to make it to Tezpur in a single day. I'll go in a relaxed way. So most probably I'll be riding till Bomdila tomorrow and halting there.